ibn Auf, the companion radiallahu anhu. It's time for iftar. They put two kinds of food in front of him. He begins to cry. So they asked him, why are you crying? He said, I remembered Mus'ab ibn Umair radiallahu anhu. Mus'ab ibn Umair, before accepting Islam, he used to be known as one of the most wealthy and luxurious and best dressed and most spoiled of the young men in Mecca. He always had on the best clothing, the best oils. And after Islam, his mother starves him and she sends him out of the house. And he lives in poverty after that. One day he appears upon the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, and they looked at him and they looked down and they started to shed tears. Why? They're used to him being so well dressed and so good looking, and now they see him, he's so poor. All of it because he said, Allah is my Lord. So Abdurrahman ibn Auf cries and he says, I remembered Mus'ab ibn Umair, who died when he died, and we did not find anything to cover him with except a cloth. If we covered his head, his feet would show, and if we covered his feet, his head would show. So he's saying this is one of the great Muslims who sacrificed so much for Allah, and when he died, there was not enough, not even a cloth to cover all of his body. And then look what he says, and he says, and now we eat from all these different kinds of foods, and I fear that Allah has given us the good in this life. So what is he saying? He's saying that this is the poverty back then, and now Allah is giving us all these different kinds of foods. And how many did we say they put in front of him? Two, and he cries. So he's saying that I'm afraid that Allah is giving us the good in this world, and there's no good for us in the hereafter. And this is just from his taqwa radiallahu anhu. So radiallahu anhu, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he cries because they put two different kinds of food in front of him. And what if he sees the average table today? Sometimes up to 8 or 9 different types of food with varying colors and textures and odors, and no one sheds a tear. So the reality is those who grow up in luxury never taste the hunger and the pain, and they don't know what others feel of pain and hunger. So the question is, why is it that we do not feel the pain of Muslims who pick up grains? They follow these trucks that bring them aid, or they follow whatever is left over in the market, and they pick up from the ground the grains, just gather them up and then go and boil them and eat that. Why is it that we don't feel their pain and the pain of other Muslims who go and dig up the burrows of the ants to take what the ants have gathered over the years, and they boil that and they eat that? They say the one who is full doesn't feel the pain of the one who is starving, but with fasting it's an opportunity to get this feeling. And we can lose this feeling if we eat too much. So they say that the one who knows the value of a blessing is the one who doesn't have that blessing. So when we have no food in our stomach, we truly understand the value of food and what a great blessing it is. And the more we know that something is a great blessing, the more we should then immediately increase in prayer and gratitude in thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that blessing. But again, excessive eating and drinking makes us lose all of these feelings. So the meal of the day and the chef special has become one of the main aspects of the month of Ramadan, unfortunately. But the message, we're not saying don't eat, and we're not saying don't cook. We're saying do that in moderation, so that one, we don't lose the benefits and the purpose, the intent of the month to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to excel in doing that, and to not lose all the other benefits that come from not overeating, as we have mentioned. And we'd like to give advice to our fathers, and we remind them first to thank Allah for His blessings, and to teach the family to thank Allah for the blessings of food. And we're living especially in a country where people throw away food like it's not a problem. You go somewhere, they order something, they throw half of it straight in the trash, and they eat the other half. Why did you do that? No, I don't eat that. So why did you order it? Well, it only costs $1. People don't know the value of food. So we want to teach our children the blessings and the value of this blessing of food. And we want also to feel the situation of the Muslims around the world. And not only just feel it, but follow that up with actions. And this is our biggest problem, is that we know a lot of things, but we don't follow up with actions. And we want to also allow our wives and our mothers to make time for Allah. The husband should be the one who tells her, don't make too many different kinds of food. And he should be the one who sits down with her and they make a plan for Ramadan. we're not going to spend in excess in buying food and cooking too much, which means we're going to throw away a lot of food. And he's the one, it should be his plan that he wants to eat normally like someone, like the normal person during the other months, not like someone who's about to face starvation. And as a note here, sometimes people, they have too many invitations, and of course fasting and feeding combined are one of the reasons to enter paradise. But at the same time, if these invitations go for way too long, and they put too much of a stress and a burden on the wife or on the mother, then they should be limited as much as possible, so that everyone has time to worship Allah. These invitations, sometimes people come and they sit until it's a few minutes before Taraweeh. That's when everyone leaves, but the mother still has to do a lot of cleaning after that, so she may miss the salawat and miss the actual intent of the blessed month. So realistically, if it's a distraction in the house, then you can make food and send it to the masjid, or send it to MSAs or universities, or where people gather, Muslims gather together, and you'll get the same reward, because the whole goal is to get the reward of the people who eat of the food that you have prepared. And also, it is not the month of exercising and not the month of losing weight. Many people, they only exercise in Ramadan, never ever during the rest of the year. And we see this in Muslim countries particularly, and Allah has blessed us to a degree that we don't see some of this here. But in Ramadan, you're going to the masjid and you see the whole country outside jogging. Everyone's wearing their sweatpants and sweatsuits, and they're jogging, and then that's it. No one goes to, few people go to Taraweeh. So it's not the month of exercise, it's not the month of losing weight. And when you eat too much, it takes from your energy to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of the early Muslims, they have said, do not eat too much, so then you will drink too much, and then you will sleep too much, and then you lose so much. So with that, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who are moderate in their spending and moderate in the way that they eat. And I ask Him to strengthen us and give us the ability to worship Him as He has designed during the month of Ramadan. جزاكم الله خير على حسن استماعكم وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وسبحانك اللهم ربنا وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك جزاكم الله خير.